Okay, so it's nighttime and this little guy talked me into a little bit of ice cream, so I told him he could take a few bites and then he needed to put it back in the freezer. Okay, so we're gonna do an outfit of the day, right guys? Okay guys, so this is going to be a little quick recipe video on how I make my meatballs. So basically, I'm making a small batch today. I usually do 2 packages of ground beef, but I'm making a small package. It's just me and the kids. My husband's deployed, like many of you know. So the first thing I do is I turn it on 375. Sometimes you can go a little hotter or a little lower. It just depends. I find 375 is perfect. So the first thing I usually do is obviously defrost the ground beef, and I plop it in a bowl. And then I just put some regular bread in the toaster oven, toast it up, and then I chop it like this. And this is, I'm gonna grab this, so this is gonna go over into my bowl. Okay, so I've got everything in the bowl already. I'm gonna show you guys what the recipe calls for. So I put in, I don't really measure, it's probably less than a tablespoon of each, probably like 2/3 a tablespoon, so probably like 2 teaspoons of each, just depending. You kind of play with it as you make these a couple times and eventually you get it. So you need Italian seasoning. These are all by McCormick. This one's just the gourmet collection. They just didn't have it in this one. I find that they're exactly the same. And then I have these little guys too, but I'm always out of Italian and oregano. Actually, yeah, I'm always out of Italian. They're a little bit of oregano. Anyways, so you need Italian seasoning, some black pepper. You can use it doesn't have to be fresh crushed. It could be the kind in the little, like, could be that one. Salt. You're gonna need a good couple pinches. So I just kind of turn this a few times. I put a little extra oregano in it, even though there is oregano in the Italian seasoning. I just put the tiniest little, like, quick dash of oregano in because I really like oregano a lot. And then I also put garlic powder. Then I have 2 sort of optional, actually probably 3. We'll call the oregano an optional one. You're gonna want these ones. You're gonna need these ones for the meatballs. If you have fresh parsley, that's great too, but you don't need it because there is plenty in the Italian seasoning. There's plenty of seasoning in that. Some optional things would be that extra oregano, tiny bit of onion powder, and like 1 quick dash of crushed red pepper. And it's not like, when I say quick dash, I mean like the tiniest bit. Just 1 quick flick out of the container, and that's just optional. These are just some things you can do to liven it up if you like a little bit of kick to stuff, if you like that little bit of onion powder flavor. So, and then if you like oregano. So those are the seasonings you're gonna need. You're gonna need milk. Whole milk is great. I have skim. You can use skim, that's fine. Also, actually, unsweetened original almond milk also works great as well. You're gonna need eggs. You need 1 to 2. I used 1 because it is exactly a pound of ground beef that I got. Well, it's 1.1 pounds of ground beef, but sometimes in that little package, it's like, 1.5 pounds. Sometimes you're going to need 2. And if you're doing 2 pounds like I normally do, you definitely need 2 eggs. And then you're going to need at least 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese, sometimes more. I mean, make mine super cheesy. So you're going to need some mozzarella cheese, and then some optional things are Parmesan, which I did put in mine, and Worcestershire. Or if you don't have Worcestershire sauce, A1 sauce amazingly works fantastic with this. And I think it has Worcestershire sauce in it, or it's like so close to being Worcestershire sauce. But yeah, so this works great in a pinch, which is what I had to do today. I've done it before, it works great, but Worcestershire sauce is the best. So then you need your breadcrumbs in there, and I just throw it all in. Quick splash of milk, like, I don't know, maybe equivalent of like 3 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons. And then I'm gonna mash it all up, and then I will show you guys what it looks like, and I'll let you know if I ended up adding anything more to it based on sort of how the texture was. Okay, so here is what it should look like. You can see everything's all mixed. It's got that sort of slime layer to it from the egg. My hand's like disgusting. I need to clean it. Don't over mix it because you'll end up making the bread like crumble up into mushy pieces. You want to make sure it's still got sort of those crouton type shapes in it. All the cheese is mixed throughout. I think I had enough of everything in there. So, okay, so I had like 1.1 something pounds of ground beef. This is about the amount you would expect to get if you made big meatballs. I like to make them very large when I'm making spaghetti with meatballs. I also, a lot of times, like especially at my husband's home, I will do, you know, like 3 or 4 packages of ground beef, and I'll save a lot of these, freeze some, make some meatball subs with them the next day, that sort of thing. But it's just me and the kids, so I'm just making this many here, and I made them really big. You can also make them a lot smaller if you're having a large group and you need like a quantity over like the large meatballs. Sometimes smaller ones just work out better in a group setting. You can do that too, and it would be less time. So these are going to go in the oven at 375. I usually check them about 30 minutes in to make sure they're doing okay. I like them to get a little bit crispy around the outside, so I'll usually leave them in a little bit longer, or I'll pull them out and pan fry them quick before or after I put them in the oven. But today I'm just going to pop them in the oven, keep it easy. I need to go get linens out and make beds. So this is what they're going to look like. I will show you what they look like when they come out. You can see the bread and the cheese in them. They're so good. They smell so good. They're so yummy. So I'm going to put these in and check back in with you guys later. I guess I should probably tell you guys, I usually put them at the top or the middle rack. I very rarely put them on the bottom. I usually move that bottom one up to like the middle, or the top one down to the middle, but they're at the top rack. All right, it is dinner time.